today in the Prog Corner, in case you hadn't guessed, we are going to be talking about that great American hard rock slash AOR slash prog light band Styx. Are they prog? Well, I contend that their best work is most certainly prog. The albums I'm going to rank lower on this list obviously are more pop oriented, more radio friendly type of stuff, but at their best, oh yeah, Styx was a prog band for sure. Now, I grew up with this band. I grew up in Milwaukee. I remember listening to WLS, that great Chicago radio station. In the spring of 75, they started playing Lady nonstop. It was a minor hit in 73, but it kind of passed me by. But in the spring of 75, it was everywhere. The song almost ruined the band, but they were able to figure it out and forge forward. But they've got 16 studio albums. We are not going to be looking at their covers album. 2005's The Big Bang Theory, notable primarily as the first album with Ricky Phillips on bass. But 50 years old. Their first album came out 50 years ago, 1972. Formed by the great Dennis DeYoung and the Pinozzo brothers, John and Chuck. Early on, they were joined by a fourth member, Tom Nardini. The band at that point was called Trade Winds. They changed the name to TW4 at some point. Nardini left, and the three remaining members scoured the earth and found James J.Y. Young and John J.C. Kuralewski, and the five-piece then changed their name to Styx. What a great name for a band. I mean, it's a pun on sticks and stones, but Styx is obviously the river that runs through Dante's Inferno. So as a kid, it kind of had this dark connotation, but they had this real bright, shiny, day-glow kind of music. The dichotomy did not escape me as a kid, but I just love this band. Some people are really upset with this new version of Styx going on without Dennis DeYoung. As a Styx fan, I think we should be absolutely 100% grateful that there was no reunion. As a result, we got an amazing Styx album last year. Crash of the Crown was absolutely incredible. I had it ranked as my number 3 album of 2021, but Dennis DeYoung came out with a fantastic album last year too. 34 East Volume 2. It included 2 of the best songs he's ever written, Ilo the Misanthrope and Proof of Heaven. Wow. We are blessed as Styx fans, absolutely. So today, before I go to the Styx concert Sunday in Lima, which I am absolutely psyched about, I want to do a quick rundown of the Styx studio albums from worst to first. And oh yeah, we are starting with number 16, and Edge of the Century. This thing came out in 1990. There's no Tommy Shaw. He was busy doing the damn Yankees thing. So they've got Glenn Burtnick on guitar, and this is kind of a Glenn Burtnick album. The first single was one of his songs, Love is a Ritual. Not great, didn't perform well. The second single, Show Me the Way, was their final top 10 hit for the band. But unceremoniously, they were fired. Their long-term label, A&M, got bought out, and one of the first things the new owners, Polygram, did was say, "Oh, we gotta get rid of these dinosaurs. Grunge is king. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya." At number 15, I'm going with Brave New World from 1999. This saw the return of Tommy Shaw to the fold. It's a little better record. There were no hits on this thing. There was a lot of momentum for a Styx reunion. They had done a Return to Paradise, and the live album and DVD did really, really well. So they wanted to do a new album, and it's okay. It's a little confusing. I just don't think it's a great album. At number 14, I'm going with the debut album from 1972. This saw a young band trying to figure out what they were going to do. There's something called Movement for the Common Man on here. It's like a 13-minute song, something relevant to Fanfare for the Common Man. There's little bits and pieces of spoken word and, taxi drivers talking about the world at large. It's weird. There's cover songs. They just hadn't really fully fleshed out who they were going to be. At number 13, we're going with their fourth album, Man of Miracles, in 1974. This thing here is the ultimate contractual obligation album. Lady was already a hit in 73, but it was actually building up again as they're recording Man of Miracles. Labels are sniffing around. They had signed a 4-year, 4-record deal with Wood and Nickel. It was at its end, and all these majors are sniffing around. So they weren't going to waste any of their good material on this, their last on a small label. Their next album would be incredible as a result. At number 12, Kilroy Was Here. Boy, I hated this thing when it first came out. Time has been kind to it. I guess it's not quite as bad as I thought it was. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto is all you really need to know there. It's a weird rock opera where JY takes on the persona of a evil reverend, and Dennis DeYoung is the hero of the whole story. He's Kilroy, and I guess Tommy Shaw's supposed to be a young rocker trying to save his hero from the evil clutches of a bad society. It sounds a little like 2112. It's a mess. It's terrible. At number 11, I'm going with The Serpent Is Rising, their third album. This thing came out like 3 months after their second album. Lady was a minor hit, so the label's like, just hurry up, run, get one out quick. It sounds like a quickie. The end of side 1 on this thing, I think they've taken it out on reissues. There's a hidden track. It's so fun. Don't sit down on the plexiglass toilet, said the mother to her son. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's great. It's got Krakatoa. It's got Handel's Messiah, Witch Wolf. This album's terrible. It's actually so bad that I kind of like it a lot. At number 10, I'm going with Cornerstone, the album that signified the end of the great Imperial period for Styx. It's the one that had Babe on it. It was a massive smash hit. I hated it. I remember going to see these guys in concert when that album came out. A friend of mine was on crutches, and he kept trying to poke Dennis DeYoung with his crutches during Babe. We hated that song so much. Oh, it's a disaster. Boat on a River's pretty good, though. I do like that song. So, take that with a grain of salt. At number 9, I'm going with Styx II, the album that had Lady on it. It's actually a pretty good record all the way through. There's a couple other great songs on there. You Need Love is really good. Father OSA is a great track. Little bumpy. It's not great all the way through, but it's got Lady on it. It's incredible. They obviously mailed in their next 2 albums because of Lady. Serpent Is Rising and Man of Miracles weren't nearly as good as they probably should have been. But anyway, they knew something was happening, and it was going to be happening really soon for them. At number 8, I'm going with Paradise Theater, 1981. This was their biggest album. It had all the hits on it. Rockin' the Paradise and Best of Times and Too Much Time on My Hands. Great contribution from JY. I love the song Snowblind. It's a good record. It's commercial, but it's a concept album, so there's proggy aspects to it. But as we go forward on this list from here out, it's pretty much straight up prog. At number 7, I'm going with Cyclorama from 2003. This was the first album without Dennis DeYoung. Lawrence Gowan is now the new lead singer. He does a great job on this album, but it took a little while for me to get used to a Styx album without Dennis DeYoung. His absence is huge. It's felt on this record quite a bit, and even guest appearance from Tenacious D can't solve that, but it's actually a good record with some really good songs. I like it a lot. At number 6, I'm going with Crystal Ball. This was the first album with Tommy Shaw. This is 1976, and there are some growing pains with Tommy Shaw replacing John Kurlewski. His place in the band wasn't really quite secured at that point in terms of who he was going to be. JY was the rocker. Dennis had the ballads. Where does Tommy fit in? They didn't quite figure it out. Side one is really, really strong, though. Put Me On, Mademoiselle, the title track. Just side two gets bogged down a little bit. It's a good record, but slight disappointment. At number 5, I'm going with 2017's The Mission. Oh, man, I thought when this thing first came out that it was going to be kind of like Cyclorama 2. I was dead wrong. This is the first album with Willa Vankovich's contribution and songwriting and production. This is a concept album that tells the tale of a manned mission to Mars, and it is thrilling. It is outstanding. It is progressive. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. It is incredible. At number 3. No, number 4. I'm going with Equinox. Oh, yeah. Equinox, 1976. No, 75. My bad. This was their first major label album. It had the minor hit Light Up on it. Lorelei was minor hit. But it is just incredible. Sweet Madam Blue got a lot of FM airplay. This was the last album with JC in the band. I think he died in 1988, but his contributions on Equinox are fantastic. Born for Adventure, Mother Dear. His presence was actually missed when he left Styx, but Tommy Shaw is incredible. Everyone would make that switch, I think. Everyone would make that trade. Now we're going to go to number 3, and it's Pieces of 8 from 1978, their 8th album. Still had the hits. This was kind of the Tommy Shaw album. It had Renegade and Blue Collar Man, so the 2 biggest hits on here were Tommy's. It's every bit as progressive as its predecessor. This was kind of the last prog album they did for a long, long time, and I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. At number 2, last year's Crash of the Crown. Oh, man, this album is so incredibly great. It has no business being as good as it is. Lawrence Gowan has definitely found a home in Styx. Tommy Shaw's voice sounds incredible. Willa Vankovich's songwriting and production is just incredible. I love it. If you guys want a starting point with Styx, I would either go with that one, the new one, or number 1, which is, of course, 1977. The Grand Illusion, their 7th album, released on the 7th day of the 7th month of 1977. This album is perfection. This is the album that blew the band up. It's their best album by far. I love Pieces of 8. I love Crash of the Crown. I love Equinox, The Mission. Great, great albums, but The Grand Illusion is where everything starts and finishes with Styx. In my opinion, it is their masterpiece. It is a perfect album. It is 10 out of 10. It's proggy. It's catchy. It's amazing. I love Styx. I'm going to see them Sunday in Lima, like I said. I'm really fired up about it. Are they prog? Yeah, like I said, they're prog enough for me. Hey, they made it onto the prog corner, right? So I guess they're pretty prog. Anyway, I had a lot of fun doing this. I love Styx. I know some of my friends in the UK don't know about them, aren't familiar with them. Maybe this will be a good excuse for y'all to check them out and see if you like them. Anyway, I am Scott from the Prog Corner, and I will see you freaks on the flip-flop or something.